Johnny Manziel was certainly making headlines, even though he's really not trying to make headlines. We talked about the NFL Combine previously, and now he's receiving a ton of shit from Barry Switzer and Ron Jaworski. So we start with Barry Switzer. I believe this was on CBS Sports Radio in St. Louis. Here is what Barry Switzer said. CBS Sports Radio in St. Louis. I don't like Johnny Manziel's antics. I think he's an arrogant little prick. Respond and then we'll continue.
If I'm Johnny Manziel,
what are you doing? You're not doing anything. You're not.
I wouldn't, because I mean, obviously,
you're not paying him any attention.
But I'll speak for Johnny. I'd be like, "Shut up, old man." I mean, good. Thank you for throwing personal jabs at me. I think you're old, has-been coach that. Okay, you won championships back in the day, but now you just start rashing on young kids. So,
can you offend someone for being old? I mean, it's like just factual stuff.
But I mean, you're old man River. Like, shut up. It's just fucking. Why is it? Thank you for taking a personal jab. When nobody cares what you care about how he personally, like, is he a good player? And then all of a sudden he follows it up with what?
And then here's what he said. I was going to get to Jaworski, but I'll get to Switzer and then Ron Jaworski of ESPN. I've compared Manziel to Michael Jordan and Oscar Robertson. He takes over a game like those guys did. I've never seen a college football quarterback do what he does. It's staggering. He's the most dominant college football quarterback I've seen in a long time. If Manziel is there for the Rams at number 2, you draft him. Yes. So which side of the coin are you on, Barry Switzer? I'm a little confused here.
Thank you for the praise, Barry Switzer, but I don't really care about your personal attacks, because I don't, I don't really appreciate you.
You're being so nice about it.
I'm just saying, like, why would you?
I don't care for your personal attacks.
You call me. If somebody calls you arrogant little prick, I don't know if he's ever met Johnny Manziel. I don't know if he's actually had a conversation with him.
Sure.
All he sees is what he says on TV or on TV, his antics. You call it arrogant.
A little money antics.
We call it arrogant. I call it confidence. So whatever you want to say. But I usually older people, I mean, even including my father, get upset about young kids doing like antics and stuff. They're like,
same with my parents.
Act like you've been there. I'm like, you did the same thing when you were young. Yeah. Now all of a sudden you're old, you act like...
Why can't they be like Barry Sanders?
I never forget, my coach in Oakland, James Lofton. Mm-hmm. He would get so mad when we
James Lofton was in Oakland?
He was my receiver coach, yes.
Oh, shit.
And so he would get so mad at us if we did any type of things in the end zone. And then we see some like Hall of Fame like tape with him catching a pass down the sideline. 20 yards away from the end zone, starts backpedaling and has the ball up in the air and going in the end zone. I'm like, you can never tell us, we've never done anything that brash. And he always gets mad at us when we...
And that was 20 years ago and he didn't get flagged for it, obviously.
No, he wouldn't get flagged. We would get flagged for that now.
Of course.
But the fact that he would get mad at us just doing like a regular dance in the end zone, I'm like, you can't ever tell us anything else. The fact that you did that, because you were once young and you once wanted to have fun, and now you're old, now you're like, this is not right. This is not part of the game. I'm like, you used to do it.
Okay, that's the old man.
Where do you think we learned it from?
That's the old man moment right there.
Yeah. For sure.
So, Ron Jaworski, by the way, bringing it back, on ESPN Philly Sports Radio, I'm a big believer in Nick Foles, but who knows? Manziel may fall. I'm not crazy about him, to be honest with you. I've only looked at 5 games, so he's being honest at least. I've only looked at 5 games. I wouldn't take him in the first 3 rounds. What? Okay, continuing on. That's my opinion. It's incomplete right now, but he has not done a whole lot to me. Then via Pro Football Talk, he's a random quarterback that likes to get out of the pocket and makes plays with his legs. In the NFL, he won't last 3 games playing that style. He'll get hurt. He took a lot of vicious hits at A&M in 2 years, and those hits that have that accumulative effect will knock him out of games in the NFL.
Agree.
You do?
I agree. I mean, I don't know about maybe like the 4th round and below, but I mean, how many mobile quarterbacks last? Name them. Name them.
Well, we're looking at RG3 right now, and
looking
he's
at Michael Vick. How many times
Vick
Vick has lasted a season? How many times RG3
He had a horrible offensive line, though. That offensive line in Philly was terrible. They were almost historically bad.
You forget that
number of concussions that.
Why are you just talking about Philly? Atlanta, he's never made it through a whole season. It doesn't matter what he's been playing. He's been playing over 12 years, and he hasn't made it through a whole season.
In Philly than he did in Atlanta because his offensive line was almost historically bad.
We're talking about not making it through a whole season. So if I'm a GM and we invest all this money in a quarterback, and you're not going to make it through a whole season, I'm going to put some question marks by you. If it's like Andrew Luck at RG3 again, I'm going to be like, I'm going to think about luck. I mean, I'm not even talking about injuries and something like that. You got to think about longevity. And you're going to run, and Manziel's going to run around and do that little like step back move on somebody.
No, he will not.
And get caught by one of your favorite players, Julius Peppers, and he's going to knock his block off.
By the way, Julius Peppers, Bears could trade him. Really decreasing in value. By the way, we were going through scouting reports previously with Richard Sherman. Here's the scouting report via Sporting News. This is back in October, so Just putting that out there. Via the Sporting News, I will go with the negatives, and then we unfortunately have to wrap up. Height is a negative because he's 5'11" 3/4. Footwork in the pocket. His steps and his drop back are inconsistent, leading him to unnecessarily throw off balance, which is kind of true. He has improved, especially on designed in-pocket half-field reads, but he still makes far too many throws more difficult than he has to. An elusive runner, his desire to make defensive players miss appears to also be a factor in his inconsistent footwork. Agree or disagree?
Pinned out over here.
I know, you usually do.
But
it's like a ritual.
I agree with that part. You know, with just the fact that, you know, you see him how he throws. Sometimes he's going to be, his footwork's not right, but that's him. That's what he does. He makes plays, off balance, same leg, same arm. Like,
can he improve?
Absolutely.
Yeah, no doubt.
I mean, there's no.
If he takes in the coaching, he can improve.
He has 100% not reached his, his pinnacle. Like, he has so much stuff to improve on. He's going to get better and better each year.
Sure.
And obviously, I wouldn't pass him up. But it's not like if I had a choice, I wouldn't want him to be running around. You know, I'd be like, I want you to stay in the pocket. I mean,
but if his biggest strength is like running around and creating plays. I mean, look at Russell Wilson.
But Russell Wilson, I feel like has a better arm than Johnny Manziel. I feel like his ball.
He's a pitcher.
His ball is.
So
his ball
we already know he does.
His ball is so much more pure. You see how it's always a spiral. It's always something. So I mean, you utilize. It's almost like you utilize your legs when you have to. You don't. It's not first call. I feel like sometimes, even when my friends used to tell me that played for the Falcons back in the day, when Michael Vick first got to the league, it was like first read option and he's already gone. Like if you're doing a backside comeback, you're turning around, he's already like scrambling. So you don't really want to utilize your legs right away. But I mean, use it to your advantage. But I would, if I'm a GM, I want some longevity out of my quarterback and not getting concussions every 2 or 3 games.
Do you take him if you're the Texans? I know that you'd like to see him in a Browns uniform, and I've convinced myself I'd like to see him in a Browns uniform. But if you go number 1, they need a quarterback. They could take a Mario Williams, or they could take a Mario Williams-like player in Jadeveon Clowney, or they could take Johnny Manziel. Who do you take?
I mean, I would take Manziel.
No doubt.
He's from Texas. Played for Texas A&M. I mean, it's a right fit. I mean, honestly, it's going to help the organization. He's not going to hurt the organization. I feel like it's going to take some time. There's going to be some like learning curves, but I'm not going to pass him up. You know, especially I'm not going to pass him up. I'm not going to pass Jadeveon Clowney up.
I also would not. I think I would go with Manziel, though I would like to see him in a Browns uniform.